Well, welcome to the Camden Community Center. It's an honor to welcome all of you here today. I'm Laura Walls, Executive Director of the Carroll County Economic Development Corporation. I'm here for a major economic development announcement. The sort of day people in my field live for, and the turnout is amazing. We appreciate all of you being here today. It's also my pleasure to welcome Carroll County's newest industry here today, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to wait any longer. Let's get right down to why we're all here today. It's my pleasure to introduce Steve Hogan. He's the president of Jeep Fuel and Energy Indiana LLC.
Thank you, Laura. You'll note I'm going to follow my notes pretty closely because I only have 3 minutes. So, and most of my people are betting I go over. So I'm going to try to keep it within the time frame. After over 2 years of hard work and searching, GP Fuel and Energy Indiana is pleased to announce that it has selected Carroll County to build 2 projects. One is our recycling center, and the second is a really innovative plastics to diesel refinery. Just a little bit of explanation on the refinery, because on the recycle center. In the recycle center, we're using basically proven technology, but what is different is the scope, where the technology we use, typically you find one line in a facility. We're going to have 5. What we do is our facility receives the waste plastics, it washes, sorts, separates, and shreds the plastic. And in that separation process, we basically separate it into two batches. One is reusable, recyclable plastics, which we sell into the plastic industry. The second is end-of-life plastics. What's significant is, in terms of the interplay between the 2 businesses, we're utilizing a groundbreaking technology through our company, Integrated Green Partners Indiana. And what we do is we convert that end-of-life plastics into fuel. About 75% ultra-low sulfur diesel, 25% is a real high-grade blend fuel gasoline. The balance of the good recyclable plastic is sold into the plastics industry, where they typically use it for various things, generally to make new plastics. Something that's very important to us, because we're kind of environmentalists at heart. We like to call ourselves the functional environmentalists, but this project is very environmentally friendly. It has very low emissions points. No hazardous waste is either received or produced. So it's a very clean project. To give you an idea of scope, Camden Recycle Center will receive approximately 40 rail cars a day of product, every day. And the primary source of plastics is ASR, which is commonly known as auto shredder fluff. The facility will process in excess of 1 million tons of plastic annually. Currently, all that 40 rail cars a day is almost all going into landfills. So you can see how environmentally friendly the project is. Don Willis will provide more information on the recycle center, and Tony Cream will provide more information on the refinery. We're going to build the 2 facilities on approximately 80 acres on North Meridian Road between County Roads 200 and 300 North. And just real quickly, I want to introduce a couple of people. My longtime business partner, Troy Flowers, is somewhere. I don't know, Troy, can you stand up? Yeah. And something very important to me, my wife, Debbie Hogan, Debbie, stand up. And one of our partners isn't able to make it here because they're in Australia. We're forming a Delaware entity called Integrated Green Energy Partners, LLC, with our business partners in Australia, Foy Group Limited, and we'll be using their patented integrated green energy technology. This entity will own the entity that will be here in Carroll County. And so with that, we want to thank the state of Indiana, the elected officials of Carroll County, the towns of Camden and Flora, the Railroad Commission, Pete, wherever you are, you can't believe what it's done for us, and most importantly, the residents of Carroll County for their help and support. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve, for choosing Carroll County. It's been a pleasure working with you since April now, and it's been a long road to get to this point, but we're so proud and happy to be here. Our next speaker is Don Willis. Don will speak to the Camden Recycling Center. Please welcome Mr. Willis.
Again, I think we're a group of long-winded people, so I can pretty much go on for hours if you get me on the topic of recycling. So like Steve, I wrote a few notes to kind of keep me on track and keep me to my 3 minutes or so. Project Lego, I thought, was a very apt name for this project. Legos, as most of us played with when we were kids, are building blocks. And this project is very much a building block in what is becoming more and more a green economy, where we try to reuse the material that we normally, for decades, have been throwing away. The United States is a country blessed with vast resources. One of our greatest resources is largely underutilized, and that's waste plastic. We throw it away every year. And as Steve mentioned with ASR, auto salvage fluff, when your car has come to the end of its life and it gets shredded at a junkyard, the junkyard reclaims the metal, the rest of the material, all of the plastic and rubber that went to make up the rest of the car ends up in landfills. We want to do something about that. That material can be put back to use. In landfills, it does no good to anyone. In fact, landfills often, I know currently they're trying to reclaim as much methane as possible, but the more you put in a landfill, the more gas evaporates into the air and the more groundwater gets contaminated. The more we can keep out of it, the better. As we plan and build this facility, we will be looking where we can to Hoosier companies to build this facility with us. From pouring the cement to helping us with the legal work necessary for a project this large, we will be doing our best to build an Indiana company built by Hoosiers. We're going to have positions available for all skill levels, ranging from unskilled positions with no experience to the most highly skilled engineers. We'll be searching for the office staff, warehouse staff, maintenance and repair staff, janitorial staff, sorters, engineers, and many more. Some of the positions we'll be hiring soon. Most of the positions will be filled as we get closer to our completion date. I know we have a lot of media here, if we have people that are interested in applying at one of the two facilities, we do have an email address set up where they can send their resumes and cover letters. And that's camdenrecyclingjobs@gmail.com. We're excited about this project. We will be diverting up to 1 million tons of plastic and rubber from landfills and putting that plastic and rubber back to use again. We'll be putting approximately 150 people to work in the recycling center at a time when our national economy is hurting. We will be using the most advanced recycling equipment available to us, and we'll be using the most advanced optical sorters in the entire world. And when this facility is completed, it will be one of the largest recycling centers on the face of the planet. We're excited about that. We're excited it's being built in Indiana. I've lived in Indiana 50 of my 54 years and was born a Hoosier. And I'm very excited that this is being built in Indiana and that it's being built in Carroll County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Tony Preem will be leading the Diesel Refinery Integrated Green Partners of Indiana. Please welcome Mr. Preem.
Thank you. My notes are just simply to try to get me to 3 minutes. So I'm yeah, my name is Tony Preem, and I'm a partner with GEP, and currently acting COO for that fuels portion of our project. The phase 2 of the project, as Steve and Donna elaborated, is a fuels process that will take the plastics from the Camden Recycle Center, and we will produce drop-in diesel fuel and a high-grade blend or high-octane blend of gasoline. There's a third fuel that will be produced at the facility. It doesn't meet those qualities, but it will be used for cogeneration, or at least in the design process right now. We've got a design where we're going to use that waste fuel off that system to run a cogeneration to produce electricity for potentially both facilities. That's still in the development phases. Once built, this plant will produce approximately 100 million gallons of drop-in diesel fuel annually and 30 million gallons of high-octane gasoline that will be a blend fuel. And our plans at this point is to build a blend site on location so we can blend the fuels to road-grade fuels. The process that is used is a pyrolysis process. You can look that up, that technology. And we've literally over the last 2.5 years scanned, I would say 30 to 40 different technologies we've looked at. And they can all produce a fuel, but very few can produce a drop-in fuel. And that was a critical piece for us to not have to do further processing on the site. So our technology partners, as Steve had talked about from Australia, has one of the best, what we feel the best and most logical approaches towards producing these fuels. So we've been excited to find them. They will be a joint venture relationship with GEP on the fuel side, and we'll be working consistently with the Camden Recycle Center as they will be providing our feedstocks. Yeah, so the freight in and out of the fuels plant it'll be a combination of both rail and trucks. We are working with our offtake company right now to determine best geographic locations to send this fuel. We believe it'll be pretty close to a 50-50 split on what we send out of the facility. The fuels plant will have somewhere between 70 and 90 full-time employees. Probably a third of them will be highly skilled employees, and the rest will be general labor to a higher skilled level of employee there. And you know, with GEP being a business partner with the Recycle Center and with the fuels part, Don and I have been talking about how we utilize common resources within one location to cover both plants, you know, as we think that'll be the best use and most efficient model for us to move forward. We're thrilled to be here. I'm from Iowa originally. I guess I'm still from Iowa, but I've been all over. But I'm from Iowa now, and you know, we're heartland just like you guys are, and I'm thrilled to be in a farming community. I think the quality of people you get in communities like this are second to none across the nation. And so we're thrilled to be here. We're looking forward to moving this project forward, and thank you for your time.
County. Briner Building is charged with building these state-of-the-art facilities. So to talk more about that component is Mike Swinford.
I'm kind of a pointer, so I can't see the screen, but I'll try to describe the project. My name is Mike Swinford, chairman of Briner Building. We are the design build general contractor building this new exciting recycling plant. I would like to, Brian, where are you? Brian, if you could stand up, wave. Okay. Brian is a president of Briner Building and a partner in that company, and he's also going to be the full project control manager. So Brian will be spending a lot of time here. He'll interact with the community quite a bit here in the next year plus during the project. So I'd like to give you just an overall view of this project. It's split into phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 being the plastics recycling facility itself, and then phase 2, as Tony pointed out, the plastics to fuel plant. Okay, so if you're looking at the screen here, I think in the upper right-hand corner is the phase 2 plant. That's about 200,000 square foot of buildings. And then phase 1, the larger building, there's really 3 buildings there, and it's about 450,000 square foot. Again, we're starting with the phase 1 project. The site, the phase 1 project sets on a site that was owned by Raymond and Janet Eikenberry. The phase 1 site is 63 acres, and I believe the phase 2 site is 15 acres. Again, back on the buildings, we're talking about phase 1 now. There's generally 450,000 square foot of buildings. One nice thing about this recycling project, everything is internal, the process in the building. There is no outside storage, piles, whatever, so it's all self-contained, which in today's economy, economic and recycling, everything needs to be inside to be contained. So the first building, phase 1, the larger building, that's a 370,000 square foot building, and that building will receive essentially dirty plastic industrial waste, okay? And it will receive that product via truck and train car, okay? The truck, I'm going to call the truck, there's a couple trucks over here southeast corner of the building. Those trucks will enter the complex, they'll drive into the building and then unload the plastic and then exit the building. On the other side, which you cannot see, is a 22,000 square foot standalone train car dumping building, okay? So inside of that, the design calls for a rotary train car dump. So we'll be able to take one train car full of that plastic product and dump it over at an angle, literally just dump it out, and we'll be able to dump a single car in 10 to 15 minutes. And I think Steve was talking about the plan is to offload a 40 car train in a 16-hour day, okay? So what we're doing inside of this building, we're receiving this dirty plastic waste, and then we've got to wash it, we got to clean it, we got to process it, and then we're finally going to repalletize that plastic. It comes in bulk. We're going to palletize that product. It'll be clean plastic, and we will sell that initially into the industrial marketplace at large, and those buyers will use that clean plastic and further produce, process finished plastic goods. Okay, that's the first use. The second use is for phase 2. We'll ship the plastic over to the fuel plant, and that will be converted to fuel. So everything is internal here, okay? So the last building of 50,000 square foot, the upper left-hand corner, once we repalletize a product, then we will store that in a separate building, and that's a 50,000 square foot building, and then we'll be able to ship as well truck and train from that facility. So the product is really never outside. As far as the rail, you know, this is, there's quite a bit of rail. There's 15,000 foot of new rail to install on site on phase 1. That is not phase 2. So we've got 15,000 lineal foot of track, and there's 3 storage tracks that will store up to a 40-car train each, or 120 cars, okay? And then, of course, there's another 40-foot track, or 40-car track, that's going to feed that train car unloading building. And then there's the exit track, you know, shipping the finished product out of the complex. As far as the schedule, you know, we want to start immediately, first quarter 2017. The project is generally a 12-month project. I'm talking about phase 1, okay, the recycling plant. So again, first quarter start, 12-month finish. Jobs. Everybody's always excited about the jobs that these facilities will create, but they always forget about the construction jobs that are coming, okay? So we plan to have an average of 100 people on the phase 1 project for the next 12 months. So some of those people will be regional, some of the subcontractors, some of those employees, but we always try to work with the more local communities, and we're like everybody else. You see hiring signs out all over, and so we would be thrilled to hire employees direct at Briner or use local subcontractors. You know, we need painters, we need drywallers, concrete people, that kind of thing. So we look forward to working with the community to make this project happen. So thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Logistics were a key deciding factor in where to locate this project, and U.S. Rail, which operates the railroad adjacent to the property, was key in those efforts. So please welcome Gabe Hall, President of U.S. Rail.
Thank you, Laura. Good morning to everybody. I'm really glad to see this many people in Camden. Seems like you're all excited about this economic development announcement and the jobs that it's going to create. I'm Gabriel Hall. I'm president of U.S. Rail, and I've been there for a while. But in April, I began the logistics side and have devoted just about all of our time to the logistics and the energy side of our business. What I wanted to talk mostly about today, just a couple minutes of it anyway. I was told I had a few minutes, but I don't think the last speaker or so actually honored that. But that food back there looks pretty good. We have been working on a project to bring into Carroll County for approximately 5 years. And before that, we looked at different locations around Kokomo and Logansport to bring in different customers. We've had a couple dry runs, you might say, some good practice, but nothing really materialized. And then Pete Wagner and his group, the Rail Commission, were formed and gave us a platform in which to bring economic development, you might say, into the county. And Pete has been extremely helpful, and one of the things that we should do is really thank Pete. He pushed us very hard, literally called me every week, you know, where's the project, when are you bringing something in here? And Pete sort of navigated a lot of different issues for us with the county, with the EDC, worked with Laura very well. We were very happy that they had such a great relationship. Because of that, we're bringing these jobs into the county. I don't know if anybody has said anything. I know in the press release there's about 160 jobs approximately coming into recycling, and then in addition to that, there will be 70 to 90 jobs in the refinery operation, the conversion operation. But in addition to that, there's going to be jobs on the railroad. I don't know exactly how many, but there'll be a few extra jobs there. There'll be jobs driving trucks. There'll be jobs that are indirectly related to the operation. I'm sure eventually you'll get some housing, you'll get other things, some restaurants and things like that. And this will all contribute to the jobs that'll be created in and around the county and this region. It also signals to everybody that this is a good place to work. And we think that the tax base will increase. We think that it'll be overall, it'll be good for everybody. I was absolutely thrilled when Steve Hogan and Troy Flowers acknowledged that they were going to bring their operation, their fuel operation, to Carroll County. I was really thrilled with that. I thought Ohio State beating Michigan was a big thrill, but nowhere near what Steve Hogan and Troy Flowers brought in. It's very important also to recognize that we're going to be rebuilding the rail line out there. We'll rebuild it from the Norfolk Southern interchange where the interlocker is south to the plant. That'll create some additional jobs for about a year and a half or so, and we'll probably end up refurbishing most of the track south of that. But overall, we'll be bringing in the plastics. That's one of the things that U.S. Energy Logistics does. We provide the raw materials, the ASR, from different locations. And we'll be doing a lot of other things with it. But I think we should give Pete Wagner an absolute round of applause. I'd like to point out Dale Pape, who's actually supposed to be up here, but 5 minutes before we got here, he decided I was going to speak. And Bruce Amrine, also from U.S. Rail. And one last thing, you couldn't meet finer gentlemen than Steve Hogan and Don Willis and the whole crew and Troy Flowers. They're very well-respected business people. We feel very comfortable with this project. Being good corporate citizens is very important to us, to U.S. Rail, to U.S. Energy Logistics, and to GEP Fuel and Camden Recycling. But thank you very much for your time, and we hope that this will be very successful and that everyone here will have a part of that success. Thank you.
Thanks, Gabe. Early on, the company and I brought in the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. The team there has been phenomenal to work with, led by our project manager, Haley Rubicek, and the Central Indiana Director, Jim Staten. We were supposed to have Jim Schellinger, the president of IEDC, with us today, but unfortunately something came up. But we got the next best thing in Jim with Jim being able to join us. So please welcome the Central Indiana Director for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, Jim Staten.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you for allowing me to join you today. Most next best things are named Jim, and so I'll try and live up to that moniker. Congratulations on an historic day in Carroll County. It's an historic time in Indiana, and we're just pleased to be here celebrating that with you. Congratulations to Mr. Hogan and his team for choosing Carroll County and expressing that confidence in a community that has really pulled it together to do a great job and bring in a significant investment, not only for Carroll County, not only for Camden and Flora, but for the state of Indiana. A $300 million investment doesn't happen every day. We get maybe 3 or 4 of these deals a year statewide, so this is significant. It's huge. And congratulations to the team that Laura's put together here to make sure your house is ready for when companies come, because that's what it's all about. You've got to build that strong local team that comes together to show what you can do, and today is that result. Congratulations. Historic in Indiana. You know, it's historic here today. We're turning 200 in a couple of weeks here. We're proud of that. We're also proud of the fact that our economy now is working at its peak. Today, there are more Hoosiers going to work than ever before in our state's history. That's about 2.65 million people. We've added about 156,000 jobs since January of 2013, and our labor force participation rate is ahead of the national average. We're at about 65% compared to about 62% for the nation. Unemployment keeps dropping. We're at 4.4% this month, and we're anxious and hopeful to keep that going down, and projects like today will certainly help in that effort. It's fun to see everyone out here today. I'm wondering if anybody's watching the bank here in Camden, because it seems like everybody in town is here. And to that end, we are watching the bank in Indiana as well. We've got about $2.25 million of reserves right now, and we're proud of that. We want to make sure that that next downturn that we all know will come at some point, we've got funds in the bank to bridge that gap and maintain services. This is getting noticed outside of Indiana. Chief Executive Magazine just recently ranked us 5th in the nation and 1st in the U.S., first in the Midwest for cost of doing business and for our abilities to win deals like this. And how do we do this? Yes, incentives are important to a deal, and local incentives for this deal were significant. Our incentives played a role, but really it's the product. We sell the product of Indiana. We promote the product of Indiana and Carroll County. And being the crossroads of America, we feel like we were a logical choice for this community, for this company. And at times, there are other communities, there are other states that can lay claim to a lot of good logistical advantages. We do it every day. We have more highways coursing through the state. We have, I think, 41 rail lines going through the state from different companies, and we can get product in and out of this state in a hurry. We have about 82 million people that live within a day's drive. That's significant in and of itself, almost about a quarter of the U.S. population. How do we do this? We make things. We make things well. And it's to the credit of all of you out there. It's to the credit of all the people working in Indiana today. Indiana, I think, is only one of 2 states where manufacturing employment exceeds government employment. 1 out of every 5 Hoosiers works in manufacturing. We have about 8,500 manufacturers throughout the state, and we're proud of each and every one of them. And on behalf of Governor Pence, Lieutenant Governor Holcomb, and Indiana Economic Development Corporation, we thank you, GEP, for locating in Carroll County, and thank you for allowing us to be here today.
Thanks, Jim. JM Tax Advocates and Fisher served as the site selector for Project Lego. And Josh Malinchuk and his team, including Luann Willis, have been an absolute delight to talk to. I'm pretty sure that in the last couple of months, I've talked to Josh and Luann more than I've talked to my own family. So it's great that you guys have been a delight to work with, because you have been such a key figure in my life over these last couple of months. But we work together, JM Tax Advocates and I, we work together with our elected officials, again, thank you to them, and with the IEDC to put together the winning package to get here today. So representing JM Tax Advocates is its President, Josh Malinchuk.
Thanks, Laura. It's truly been a pleasure to work with you and work with the county to help bring this project to the Hoosier State. I'm very proud to have been selected as a service provider. We're a Fishers, Indiana-based business, and it's great to be able to bring Indiana business to Indiana. That's truly one of the most gratifying parts of my job. is to help communities grow and to partner with great counties like Carroll County to bring jobs here. And so site selection, I learned over the past 25 years or so, is a little like marriage. There's a courtship involved. And so what I can say is there was quite a courtship with Carroll County and GEP. A lot of diligence, a lot of meetings. I can safely say that both parties know what we're getting ourselves into, so I think it's going to be a successful marriage. And so it's great to be part of the announcement today. And I just can't say enough about the spirit of cooperation and partnership that was fostered as part of the site selection and part of the approval process. We were certainly not without challenges. Texas was definitely competing for this project. And because Carroll County competed so well with logistics, the incentive package that was offered was the largest in the history of the county. The state really stepped up and offered a strong package as well, and it all added up to today having this announcement. And so the incentives, the partnership, the willingness to sell land in the county, all of that added up to a winning team today. And so I just want to congratulate GEP, I want to congratulate the county, and I just want to thank everyone in this room for being part of a historic event.
Thanks, Josh. It was a pleasure working with you. Steve, you're going to leave stage. So this is a press conference, obviously, as well as a community announcement. And so we have to meet the needs of the media here, and I was remiss in not thanking you for being here sooner. So thank you. Steve has to step off stage for a live news feed with WLFI. But we'll keep things going. As Jim said earlier, manufacturing is such an important industry, the most important industry in Indiana, and bringing back manufacturing jobs to Carroll County is a priority of the community and of the EDC. With us today from the Indiana Manufacturers Association is Brian Burton.
This usually happens whenever I'm introduced, people walk off the stage. Congratulations, Camden. Congratulations, Carroll County. I'm Brian Burton. I'm honored to serve as the president and CEO of the Indiana Manufacturers Association. And on behalf of the IMA, congratulations to Steve and everyone at GEP for just a tremendous announcement today. Welcome your continued investment in the state of Indiana. Indiana, as mentioned, is the most manufacturing intensive state in the country. Nearly 30% of our gross domestic product is in manufacturing. We have nearly 525,000 manufacturing jobs here in the state of Indiana. That's the most manufacturing intensive in the country. Not only GDP, but also employment. Since the downturn of July of 2009, we're number 2 in the country in adding manufacturing jobs. We've added 88,000 manufacturing jobs since 2009, second only to Michigan. And this is not a weighted number. This is putting us up against states with economies many times our size, New York, Texas, California, and others. So it is a long-time motto of the Indiana Manufacturers Association that what Indiana makes Indiana. And that is truer today than it was when we were formed in 1901. We represent over 1,400 different companies, many of those that you would recognize, in over 2,000 locations here in the state of Indiana. And our job is to create a business climate that makes announcements like this possible. A lot of work goes in by the site selection folks and others. There's a lot of work that's done prior to that too, to make sure that our business costs are in line and competitive with many of our other surrounding states. We want to thank the state of Illinois for making that a little bit easier, but it is a concerted effort running campaigns, getting pro-business people elected, and also working with different administrations to make sure that legislation creates an environment that fosters job creation and furthers our prosperity. Congratulations to everyone. What a fantastic day. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. We've heard a lot today about how Carroll County elected officials stepped up, and stepped up they did. With us today from the Camden Town Council in the front row, Mark Schott, Brett Deal, and their president, Andy Robeson, who will be our next speaker, representing the town of Camden, who was instrumental in getting this project.
Thanks for everybody for showing up. It's real nice to see everybody here today. We don't get this kind of announcement very often. Like she said, I'd like to thank Mark Schock, stand up, Mark, Brent Deal, Pat Castle, who's around here somewhere. She's our town clerk. Jerry and Danny's going to be doing the water and sewage for us. I'd like to thank Steve and his crew for coming to Camden, Flora, Carroll County. We're all going to benefit from it. I think it's going to be a good thing. I'd like to thank Ken Smith with Municipal Civil for all his hard work and due diligence to see if we can put the water in, if we can't put the sewage in, and what we can do to make this happen. So thanks to him. And I think other than that, I'll love it back to Laura. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Andy. Flora has also been an instrumental player in this project and has been a very supportive partner. Representing the town of Flora here today is the president of the Flora Town Board, Josh Ayers.
Thank you, Laura. First of all, on behalf of the town of Flora, I'd like to congratulate and thank GDP and their partners for making this decision to locate here between Flora and Camden. Flora's economy will probably benefit greatly from the added workers, the people that you're going to bring, construction and production. So we look forward to working with you for many years to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. The Carroll County Council is the entity that put forth or is considering the tax abatement for this project, and they've been meeting with the company and its representatives going back to this past July, and have been very welcoming to the company, and we're moving at the speed of business now, which is hard for government to do, but we're able to respond to the company needs in a timely fashion, and that's a credit to Ann Brown and her colleagues. So please welcome Ann Brown.
Thank you very much. This is a historical day for Carroll County. We want to welcome our new business leaders. They've worked, we value all their hard work, and they have committed to paying their future employees well, and we value that. That's at the top of our list of importance. And they also are making a considerable investment in Carroll County. We truly appreciate that. The County Council is considering a 10-year tax abatement for this project. We didn't do that. We put a lot of thought into it. The abatement will be up for public hearing on on December 14th. Those of you who are interested, coming up in a few weeks. I want to recognize my fellow council members and do that in alphabetical order so nobody gets left out. Al Alford, Carol Clausen, Jim Hancock, Jamie Ruff, Steve Pearson, and Jason Scott. Most of you know us well, and you know that we are 7 very independent thinkers who don't always agree. We put major thought into everything that we do, and we do recognize this large financial investment that GEP Fuel and the Energy Indiana is bringing to Carroll County. So with that, congratulations to GEP Fuel and Energy Indiana.
Thanks, Dan. Pat Clausen is president of the Carroll County Commissioners and also a highly valued EDC board member. Very early on in this project, when we were first approached with it, a small group of us got together, and Pat was a part of that group and has been instrumental in guiding us. We are definitely going to miss his leadership as a commissioner. Very excited that we'll be represented by a Camden resident in 2017, but Pat's contributions to the EDC and to this project are significant, and we appreciate it. Please welcome Pat Clausen.
I'd like to say it's been a privilege working as a small part of a larger team. This team included Laura and the EDC, Pete Wagner, and the Rail Corridor, towns of Florida, towns of Camden, their board members, and the council. Without these people working together, this project would not have happened. With that, I would like to say congratulations to GEP. We appreciate the investment in the county and wish you the very best. Thank you.
And our last speaker, last but certainly not least, is Pete Wagner. Pete and I were colleagues a long time ago in a previous life in a neighboring county, and I remember Pete coming into my office one day. This is well, I've been here 6.5 years, so it had to have been at least 7.5 years ago, before I even thought of Carroll County, and he came to my office and said, wanted to talk to me about railroad development in central Carroll County. I'll talk to anybody. Okay, Pete, let's talk about railroad development in central Carroll County. And I was thinking about this conversation earlier today, Pete, that if you would have told me 7.5 years ago in an office in downtown Lafayette that the two of us would work together to bring a project that uses railroad's a significant component of the project, to central Carroll County, I probably would have laughed in your face, honestly. But we did it, and you were a significant part of it. Just like when we were colleagues at Greater Lafayette Commerce, I'm proud that we're colleagues now and here in Carroll County, and representing the Camden Flora Rail Corridor Commission is its chairman, Pete Wagner.
Thank you, Laura. Back in 2013, the towns of Flora and Camden came together to establish the Camden Flora Rail Corridor Commission. It was sort of a unique entity. Actually, Brian Bosma worked with us to help get it created. It hadn't been done in the state, I don't think, too much through an interlocal agreement. But the purpose of the Rail Commission was to jointly pursue rail-served industrial development through the central part of Carroll County and create new good-paying job opportunities. And here, 3 short years later, we are here to announce a large-scale project with more than $300 million in investment and 256 good-paying jobs. So it is a great day, and we certainly are pleased to be here. Bringing this large-scale project like this to our area required the support and cooperation of many individuals and groups within our county. And we have all been able to work together to make this happen. And we really do appreciate the county level support we've had from the county EDC, from the county council, the county commissioners, the area plan commission. However, I do want to especially recognize a few local individuals who have consistently supported this project from the very get-go. And they've been involved and working with me since the April timeframe. And I'd like for them, if they could, just to stand and we'll recognize them as a group. The other Rail Commission members, David Allball is not able to be here today, unfortunately. He's the vice chair from Flora. Julia Leahy, Bob Overman, Brad Hanaway, Town Council Andy Robinson, Mark Schock, Brent Deal, Patricia Casserly, please stand. From the Camden Utilities, Ken Smith and Jerry Snavely. And from the town of Flora, Josh Ayers, Vince Seward, Daryl Euler, and Jaretta Tinsman. Let's give these folks a hand. One question I've heard most often to people who have had any inkling about this project was, how did this company come to consider Central Carroll County for a large-scale project? Well, the fact is that the Jeep team, and I think they would agree, would never have considered bringing this project to our area had it not been for the vision and the encouragement of my friend and our friend, Mr. Gabriel Hall. And we heard from Gabe earlier, but thank you, Gabe, for your vision in rebuilding this railroad to serve new rail-served industries. Recently, I received a note from County Council member Jim Hancock, and I think he's here today, and he stated, personally, I like Project Lego due to the 256 good-paying jobs, the environmentally friendly product, the prospect it provides for other new products and projects, and it will be located outside of a TIF district. I told Jim I could not sum up my support for this project any better, except I do want to restate what Gabe Hall mentioned earlier, and that is we're working with some really fine people. Steve Hogan, Troy Flowers, Tony Preem, and the entire Jeep team. These are first-class individuals, and welcome to Carroll County. As thrilled as we are with today's exciting news, Project Lego really sets the stage for additional new projects that are likely to locate nearby, producing other products from recycled plastic feedstock. Further improvements are also planned for the rail service that will attract other types of rail-served industries to consider locating new operations along the rail corridor from north of Camden to south of Bringhurst. This will create hundreds of more additional good-paying jobs, and it should steadily grow the county's tax base, tax revenues, population, and payrolls that will be beneficial for small businesses, governmental entities, schools, civic organizations, churches, everyone. So today's event does not mark the end of a journey, but rather a bright new beginning for the economies and the people of Burroughs and Camden and Flora and Bringhurst and Cutler and all of Central Carroll County and all of Carroll County. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete. At this time, all of our speakers will be available to the media for one-on-one interviews. The Camden Flora Rail Corridor Commission put together a very lovely lunch catered by Parrots and Maple Leaf. So please join us, find a table, and help yourself to the delicious food in the back. Thank you all for being here today. We're going to hear a lot more about Project Lego in the coming weeks and months, and I think years to come. And today is just the start. We'll keep you abreast of updates, and we look forward to a large groundbreaking this spring. So thank you all for being here. Safe travels.